Hi, my name is Cara Dineen, and I'm a professional vocalist. I specialize in jazz and contemporary styles, and I've spent the past 10 years of my life based out of Brooklyn, New York, where I toured throughout the Northeast and the East Coast as band leader and lead vocalist for my two bands, the Brooklyn Sugar Stompers and Bellatonic. Currently, I'm on the adjunct faculty at Lindenwood University, where I teach jazz and contemporary voice as well as vocal improvisation. Now, if you're a music student and you're looking to further your education, you definitely should check out Lindenwood. In addition to having a really strong music education program and performance opportunities, Lindenwood also has a great music business and entrepreneurship program where you can explore all the other options there are in terms of being a professional in the music industry. So if you have any questions about that program, please feel free to reach out to me or any of the faculty members, and we'd be happy to give you more information. So in the meantime, thank you so much for clicking on this video, and we're going to talk all about how to connect with an audience for the Lindenwood Jazz Festival. So I've prepared a slideshow to have a visual aid, so let's get started. How to Connect with an Audience by Cara Dineen. That's me. All right, so right off the bat, I want to ask you, how do you feel about connecting with an audience? I'll wait. So, although I can't hear you or read your mind, as far as I know, I can assume that however it is you feel about connecting with an audience, it probably falls on a spectrum ranging from super positive. Oh my gosh, I love connecting with the audience. I can't wait to get back on the stage. It's magnificent. All the way down the spectrum to the other extreme, which is I am totally freaked out. I have severe stage fright. I never ever want to do that ever. Don't ask me to do that. Okay, so two extremes. Most people fall somewhere in between these two. So whether you are an extrovert, whether you're an introvert, a little shy, whatever it is, wherever you are, whomever you are, however you identify, there's a way for you to connect in with the audience. So let's continue on. So I would like to introduce you to what I refer to as the 5 points of connection. So if we want to connect in with an audience, and that's our goal, we want to work on that, or we want to get better at that. Maybe that's why you clicked on this video, right? There are points of connection that we should examine before we even get to the audience. So those points are, first of all, connecting in with yourself. Okay, pretty cool. Next, connecting with your material. Okay. Furthermore, connecting with your colleagues. So these would be your band members, the people the actors you're in the play with, the event staff, wherever you're presenting or performing, the sound person, right, giving you your microphone. These are all essentially your colleagues in your job of connecting with the audience in whatever capacity, right? So there's also, of course, the audience themselves. And then there's the future audience, future potential audience, which technically is you guys, because you guys are technically my future audience. So thank you so much for being a future audience member. It's really nice to meet you, in the future. Your future, I'm in your past. So that's kind of cool. We're connecting. But anyways, when you are thinking about connections, One way to think of connections is as a kind of handshake between two parties. Both parties must extend a hand in order to make contact. So there's a beautiful handshake. So if you are meeting someone for the first time, or just you haven't seen them in a while, or you just want to shake their hand, you have this person and then you have you, right? And you guys are going to shake hands. It's going to be an equal playing field. It's going to be 50% this person coming in, 50% you coming in, and you're joining together for a nice shake, right? So when we think about connecting with the audience, or we think about connecting with any of those 5 points that I just mentioned, you want to think of it as an equal meeting between two minds, okay? So if you are connecting with the audience and you're approaching it from that standpoint of, wow, I'm bringing my energy, and I'm going to work with the energy that the audience is bringing, and we're going to do a little shake. We're going to make something new. We're going to co-create a new experience together. That's a really positive approach, a positive way to approach connecting with an audience. So let's just see those 5 points of connection here and how they relate. So here you are connecting with yourself. You have to meet yourself, okay? Here's you connecting with your material. You have to meet it. It's like meeting it halfway, kind of a vibe. Here's you connecting with your colleagues, right? You guys are working on this together, so that's a cool approach. Here's you, of course, with your audience, and here's you ultimately with your future audience as well. So I'd like to introduce you to something I call the spiral of connection. And I made this just for you guys. So here we have you in the middle. So here you are in the middle. You are going to connect first with yourself. Okay, then you are going to connect next outwardly to your material. All right. From there, you're going to connect outwardly to the next level, if you will, of connection with your colleagues. Okay, how are your band members, right? How are they doing? Do they need anything? Then you're going to connect with the audience, and then, of course, the future audience. So here's the beauty of this visual representation. The beauty is that if you are in the center, that means whatever you do, however you're connecting in with yourself, is going to radiate out into all the next facets, right? So if you're doing a good job and you are connecting in with yourself, which we'll talk about in a moment, and you're doing a good job of accessing that positive end of the spectrum and acknowledging, maybe the doubts, the minuses that you have, but you're owning that, and you are looking for that balance, like a scale, or like the two handshakes, 50-50, right? When you connect in and you access that energy and you bring that out into your material, it's going to be a really balanced and authentic connection of you showing up and tuning in to your material, the pluses and the minuses of that, right? So then when you bring that out to your colleagues, you're working with what you've got. You're doing what you can with what you've got, and you're letting the rest be what it is. That's going to then radiate out to the audience. So before you even get to the audience, you have yourself, you have your material, and you have your colleagues. So when you step up on that stage, it's not going to be just you by yourself, with the audience. Like maybe technically if you're a solo performer, but you're not alone because you have yourself that you've connected in with. You also have your material that you've connected in with. You've connected in with your colleagues, the sound person. So you're really not alone. It's not just you versus the audience. It's you plus yourself. It's you and your material. It's you and your colleagues. So you have three areas of support essentially that are there to support you in connecting with the audience. So when you think about all this stuff, it's really cool and it makes your job a lot easier, right? So, that being said, now the law, this law of like whatever's going on in the center is going to radiate out. It kind of goes the same way if alternatively, let's say you have the pluses and you have the minuses and you're connecting in with yourself and you're saying like the minuses are you know, getting to be a lot. So you're saying, oh my gosh, I don't feel like I'm good enough to be on this stage. Okay. That's going to start to tip the scale, the minuses and the pluses, right? I really don't, they should have called someone else, okay. Now we're tipping the scale, okay, to the minus side. And then if that's kind of where you're at, or that's where you're choosing to connect in, like on that level with yourself, then that is going to radiate out as well. So if that's where you are, your scale's kind of tipped, then that's going to echo out into the material, right? Like if I'm not good enough and they should have called someone else, then I guess my material is probably not going to be that good either. Oh no, and if my material is really bad, then you know, I, my band members are going to think I'm a really bad singer. Okay, oh my gosh, wow. And so it's like by the time you get to the audience, this is like kind of like a bad spiral, right? Like it's the energy that you're choosing to work with, it's radiating out. And so by the time you get to your audience, you're going to be on stage like totally freaked, completely not ready to engage in a healthy, positive exchange. It's going to be like, here's your audience, and you're like all the way down here, and you're like, oh, let's shake hands. And your audience is like, why are you down there? Like, get up. Like, what's going on? So, this is kind of, I think it's helpful to think about. Now, that being said, in terms of the scale, the pluses and the minus scale, we never want to say like, oh my gosh, okay, well, I am nervous, I don't feel like I belong here. Okay, so that's a minus, right? We don't ever want to like ignore that and say like, okay, we should only have pluses. We should only focus on the good, because the minuses, like if we kind of like sweep them under the rug, like I would sweep them under my rug over here, those are going to come back someday, and they might come out at an inopportune moment. Okay. So it's not about negating the minuses. It's about honoring the minuses, recognizing that they're there and that everyone has them, whether you're a professional or you're a student or you're just learning, how to be better at this kind of a thing. It's okay. We all have pluses and minuses, but the power move, for lack of a better term, is about balancing it with the pluses. So when we are connecting in with ourselves, I know I'm talking a lot about me right now, not me, Cara, but the concept of me, of you connecting with yourself. You can do like a little, like I have like a little approach that I'll share. Actually, I'll share that in a moment. But when you're connecting in, you actually want to connect into your why. So this is really helpful. Actually, I will. I'm going to talk about the why really quick, and then I'm going to come back to that. So you know who you are, you know what you're presenting, you know who you're presenting to, right? But at the bottom of this like me pyramid, there's a huge foundational why. And a lot of times we forget about the why, or we don't think it's that important, so we don't really focus on it. But when we are tuning in and we're connecting in with ourselves and we zero in on the why, here's what we might find. For me, I have 3 big whys. I present, perform, teach, anything, because number one, I want to connect with others. It's a very human desire to connect with other humans. And that can just be a reason all by itself, you know, like you call a friend. Oh my gosh, I haven't heard from you in so long. I just wanted to call and see how you're doing. What's going on? Connection for connection's sake, you know, lovely. Okay, so that's a really nice why. Second why is you want to share something that you've either developed, created, or learned. So, you know, even if like you hear a really cool song and you say, oh my gosh, so and so would love this, I have to send it to them. When we like experience something really cool, it's only natural that we want to share it with other people because it's more fun, you know, with others, right? So that's a really powerful why, is you want to share something with others. Okay. Then the third one for me is really big, because something that if there's a potential to positively help someone, right? So if you're sharing something, if you're sharing an idea, or you're sharing a beautiful piece of music, or you're sharing some meaningful artwork, or a lesson, or a TED talk, hopefully someone, whether they're in your live audience or potentially your future audience, will feel something from that, or it will impact them in some way, you know. And that's really big, I think, is the potential to help others. So going back to these pluses and minuses, if your minuses are starting to tip the scale and you're feeling a little anxious, tune into your whys. Okay, so example, like I said earlier, I don't feel like I'm good enough, right? Okay, even though I don't feel like I'm good enough to be on this stage, I'm choosing to show up anyways because I want to share something with other people, and I want to share what I've been working on, even if I feel like I'm maybe not ready to do that. Okay, that's really nice. That's really honest, because you're acknowledging that you have this fear, right? But then you're saying, even though I have this fear, I'm going to be really brave, and I'm going to tune into the why I'm here. I'm here to, you know, maybe something I share today could help someone, you know, powerful. So tune into your why. Maybe hit the pause button on this video and see what comes up for you. Why did you click this video today? Why do you perform? Or why do you want to be able to present and connect in a deeper way? Go ahead and hit pause. Think about it. Your reasons could be the same as mine. They're very universal. They could be slightly different. They could be totally different. But if you just identify what they are for you, then you can call upon them when you're literally stepping onto that stage, okay? And you have a moment of anxiety. Tune into your why. So that's, you know, one way to really connect in with yourself, right? Meet yourself. This is you meeting yourself. And so by you doing this work, everything else is just going to blossom from this like honest, positive, proactive connection that you're fostering with yourself first. So, yeah. In terms of what I was talking about with the little process, so we have our spiral of connection, and then if you notice down on the bottom left, I have 6, I'm calling them the orders of business. So these 6 orders of business are like, they're an approach that you can apply to each of the 5 points of connection. So you want to probably do them in this order. The first would be pause. The next one would be paying attention. So in order to pay attention and focus, you have to take a pause first. Okay. So pausing, paying attention, what needs my attention, connecting in on that, then taking action, improvising something that you need to do to get into the zone, so to speak, then perhaps co-creating something new with your audience or colleagues or future audience. And then in the final stage, you allow it to be what it is. So I know that might sound a little, okay, out there. Let's see how it applies, right? So here we are. We just talked a lot about me, about ourselves, connecting in with ourselves. So yeah, so how that would look in real time, in real life, would be, let's say you show up to the event venue and everybody's coming at you like, hey, we need to do, we need to get a sound check in. So you can take pause. You can say, hey, everybody, like, I'm so excited to be here. Give me just a minute. I'm going to just get my things situated and get settled in, and then I'll be out and ready to talk with you guys. Great. And you can say it in a nice way, like if you say it in a nice way, people will be like, oh yeah, that's fine. Yeah, great. Okay, so, that's just one of the myriad of examples of taking a pause. Now, let's say you don't have that luxury. Let's say you were in Long Island traffic on the LIE, and what was supposed to be a 40-minute drive was actually 5.5 hours because of blah, 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 blah. So you show up to the gig and you literally have 12 minutes to set up your PA system, get dressed, and start singing. If this sounds very specific, it's because, of course, it's happened to me many, many times. But example, so, you do what you have to do, and let's say you're running the whole time, but then right before you step onto that stage, you're going to take a moment for yourself, and you're going to take a brief moment, and you're going to, for me, a beautiful example would be taking a deep breath. I like to get in my body because it really helps to ground my energy when I walk on that stage. So for me, taking a deep breath through the nose, inhaling, holding, and then exhaling out the mouth. I'm centering myself. Okay, and now I'm ready. And then I step onto the stage. So that took, I don't know, 21 seconds, so I'm just trying to explain that the pause can be macro. It can be like, give me 30 minutes. I need to do yoga back in the green room before I go on stage. Okay, that's macro, luxurious. If you have the time, take it, do what you need to do. If you don't have the time, still take it, but just make it less, okay? So those 21 seconds or whatever they were, your audience won't mind. Okay, so it's like, you're the person who's getting up to that stage and, sharing something with them. And if it's 12 seconds, late, so to speak, it's a worthy investment for you to center yourself before you present. So the power of the pause is real. Then, you're going to pay attention, what needs to be paid attention to, connecting in. Like I just did like all of these things. Like, so I paused, I said, I need to take a moment before I step on stage. I'm paying attention. How's my breath? Okay, it's really fast. Okay, now I'm going to connect in. My breath is too fast. Now I'm going to improvise, take action. Okay, I'm going to slow down and take a really deep breath. Then, this co-create, it's a little more when you are branching out to like with other people, but then in the end, you're going to allow it to be what it is. So Maybe I am late, so I've tried everything within my power to not be late. But in the end, if I'm 12 seconds or 21 seconds late on the stage because I took a deep breath and centered myself, I'm going to allow that to be what it is. So these are just some ideas for connecting in with yourself before you perform. We've discussed this. Now we're going to talk about your material. So your material, you connecting in with your material, is yet another really powerful way to present something of value and share something with your audience. So you have to pause, of course, if you have the time, review your set list, look at what needs attention, connect in, then take action, improvise. So here's the thing, like when you're pausing and you're reviewing your set list, or the songs that you'll be playing, or the material that you'll be sharing, or the lesson you'll be teaching, you have to find a way in, a personal, unique, customized way in for you to connect in. So let's say, you're a singer and you have the beauty of the lyric to work with. My man, he don't love me, treats me oh so mean. My man, he don't love me, treats me oh so mean. He's the lowest man that I've ever seen. Okay, Fine and Mellow by Billie Holiday, right? So if I'm singing those words, those lyrics, I'm not going to do it. I was tempted to smile because, I'm connecting with you guys, my future audience, and that makes me happy. But if I'm really zeroed in, I would definitely not be smiling singing those lyrics, So singers, we have the added bonus of working with the lyric. Now, if you're an instrumentalist and you need to be connecting into your material, do you know the lyrics? That might be a nice exercise for you to explore, learning the lyrics to some of the pieces you're performing. If you don't know the lyrics and someone throws a song at you and starts counting it off, take a pause, pay attention. What's the title of the song? Okay, what does that mean to you? So the thing is that when we find our own way into the material and we connect in and we insert maybe our personal experience, or we imagine, someone who would be fine and mellow to me. Like, what does that even mean? When we start exploring that and applying that to our personal experience, we are building a connection that is authentic. And then when we bring that to our audience is going to feel that authenticity, and they're going to want to engage with that because they will trust it. So when you're authentic with yourself, when you're authentic with your material, when you're authentic with your colleagues, by the time you even get to the audience, they're going to feel that energy from you, and they're going to want to join you, right? We've all met charismatic people who really own who they are, and isn't it just like inspiring to be around them? I know for me, I'm like, oh my gosh, I want to teach me your ways, and that's a big point, right? Because when we are performing, when we are on a stage sharing something with the audience, we have the floor to share something, maybe that we've learned. And that's why people look up to performers, and that's why they go and they pay $30 to sit and watch a performer, is because performers have a magic ability to connect with their material and to connect in with themselves and their own authenticity. I mean, right? That's art. It's like, look, I made this. I made it, So when someone is in tune with their authentic nature, whew, people want to join you. They want to know, how are you doing it? So maybe they could do it too. So when you're authentic with yourself and your material and what you're presenting, you inspire others to be authentic and to be their whole selves as well. Pluses and minuses. So moving right along here, our colleagues. So, we can, of course, reach out to our colleagues. Once we've done the work with ourselves, we've done the work with our material. How's our band? Now, by being proactive and initiating contact and saying to your band or to your fellow actors, hey, how are you guys feeling? Do you need anything? Yeah, we need some water in the green room. We're super dehydrated. Oh my gosh, I'm on it. By you showing up and showing them that you're there for them, you want to support them having a positive experience, you're setting yourself up for success when you walk on that stage. So same goes for the event staff or the sound person. Hi, sound person, what's your name? Trixie? It's so nice to meet you, Trixie. Thank you so much for doing the sound today. I'm really looking forward to working with you. I've never met a sound person named Trixie. Okay, so I'm building a connection, I'm fostering a connection with Trixie, right? So she's gonna feel seen, she's gonna feel like we are equals, we're cohorts, we're co-creating this experience together. And that means that she's gonna wanna help me when I get on the stage and something's feeding back or whatever, like she might go the extra mile because I went the extra mile initially with her, right? So when you're building this connection with yourself, with your material, and then out with your colleagues, you are literally just radiating positive, proactive energy out. So then by the time we finally get here to our audience, it's like the hard work is already done. You're feeling good. You've taken your 21-second breath before you walked on the stage, no matter what. You got Trixie in the sound booth. She's going to help you with what you need. Your band is hydrated, right? So it's not just you alone up there with the audience. It's you, it's your awesome material that you're in touch with, the good, the bad, and the ugly of it all, right? It's you and your amazing band or, event staff that's helping the timeline and everything. So it's not just you, it's you and all this supporting structure that is going to help you elevate your own self, your own performance. It's going to be even better than just you staring at yourself in the mirror in a practice room, right? Because you're going to have beautiful lights on you. You're going to have an amazing microphone to amplify your voice. You're going to have your friends, your colleagues playing music to support you, like it's a wonderful experience. And so when you're connecting in with, this kind of energy, it is really fun to play and then connect with your audience. So one of the main elements of connecting with the audience is allowing space for your audience to process things. Okay, so it doesn't have to be the whole time, but it's really helpful in the beginning when you're initiating contact with your audience, the way I initiated contact with Trixie, the sound person, right? So you're going to show up first and you're going to lay the law of the land. You're going to lay the groundwork. You're going to say, hello, my name is Cara. I'm really happy to meet you, audience. And they're going to be like, me? You're happy to meet me? Oh, well, thanks. Like, I feel better now that I paid $35, So you can do direct, what we call and response with your audience. How are you guys doing tonight? You'll either get, be like, whoa, cool. Or you'll get, how are you guys doing tonight? Okay, good information to have. So Just because, if your audience is not super engaged, that, maybe they just got off the plane and they're jet lagged from Paris. True story. It's not necessarily you, right? But you're going to work with what you've got, the pluses and the minuses, right? So, if your audience is a little like lackluster or tired or not sure if they're into you or not yet, that's okay. You're going to take your time, and maybe, to meet that 50-50, maybe you'll give a little more, right? To kind of help them. But you're going to do whatever it takes to support your audience ongoing in this cool journey with you through all this amazing material that you have prepared to share with them. So, you can do it, like I said, in a literal way if you're an instrumentalist, or like if you're a musician who doesn't have a microphone, and or maybe you just don't want to talk to the audience. That's okay too. But you need to make sure that your material allows space for your audience. So, like Billie Holiday, Fine and Mellow, right? If I'm a trumpet player, boop, boop, boo, 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 boo. I'm going to leave space. Boo, 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 boo. I'm going to leave space. Boo, 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 boo. Boo, 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 boo. Boo, boo, boo. Boo, 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 boo. Right? So that's a nice example of call and response without the literal response, but you're leaving space for either A, a response, or B, your audience to process. It's a very generous way of showing I care about you and I want you to come on this cool journey with me. So that's a beautiful, generous meeting of the minds. Now, of course, you don't have to do the whole concert like that, right? Because that would be a little monotonous, um, saying something and then having space, saying something and then having space. So you don't have to do it the whole time, but it might be nice when you are initiating your exchange with the audience, like when you first start your solo. And then once they're into it and they're like, okay, I heard what you said, then you can, okay, well, now you guys are kind of on this train. So let's go a little faster. I can play more notes, or, what have you. But it's just about having that approach, that mindset of, I really care about you, audience, and I want you to come on this journey. So I'll wait. I'll wait a second for you to get your bag and get your coffee before you jump on the train, and then we'll go together. Right? So, yeah. So that's a nice approach. Of course, I could talk about like techniques all day. I have so much material and so many like things to share. But for the purposes of this video, I'm just kind of trying to give you guys like the essentials so that you can take them and, experiment with them yourself. See if you like some of the ideas. Maybe, maybe these ideas will spur new ideas for you guys. So speaking of that, we finally are going to arrive here at the future audience. So the main difference between a live audience and of course a future audience is, with a future audience, I don't necessarily get that direct feedback from you guys. So if I say to you, how's everybody doing out there in like future land, and then I waited, like I wouldn't hear anything. So that is a challenge for me, but it doesn't mean that I'm not going to leave space for you to process, and I'm not going to ask you questions to consider, because I want you to have a meaningful exchange and connection with me in this presentation. So with the future audience, you still need to leave your space. You still need to do call and response with them. And you need to let it be what it is. Now, I would like to say that since this is in a pre-recorded format and we can't do a live Q&A together, I would love for you to reach out If you do have questions, comments, feedback, how things worked for you or didn't work for you, please feel free to reach out to me. I'll put my email address down here. But the final thing, the final word with the future audience is that sense of allowing it to be what it is, where it is, when it is. So, when you have a live performance, you get one shot. You go up there and with the goods, the pluses, the minuses, the wrong notes, whatever, the, flub ups of the words, it all comes out and it is what it is. So that's exciting and freaky. But with the future audience, you still have that, only you have the opportunity to go click, I'm going to redo that. Click, I'm going to redo that. So that's, there's a potential for you to record yourself into your 140th year of existence. So I could do like 8 trillion takes of this this masterclass, for example, until I'm like 140. I could still be doing takes because this wouldn't be good enough. That wouldn't be good enough. My hair, this, that, whatever. But that's going to be tip in the scale. And as we've discussed, I've tipped the scale before, and it's not a really effective way to connect with an audience. So I don't want to tip the scale in that regard, so I'm going to acknowledge the positive elements like of this take that you'll be seeing, and I'm going to acknowledge the less than ideal circumstances of it. But whatever it is, as it is, I'm going to do the best that I can to the most of my capability, and then I'm going to have to just release it out into the ether, all the way to your headphones or to you on your phone, your tablet, your computer, right? So you have to do the same thing. When you do any kind of pre-recorded element, all the same rules apply. You're going to connect in with yourself, you're going to connect with your material, you're going to connect in with your colleagues, your support staff. How can you support them, right? Then if you do have a live audience, of course, that's that's the good stuff, and then you are going to continue radiating out that positive, proactive, initiatory energy of, my name is blank. I'm really happy to be sharing this material with you because of my why, which is I hope that it can help you in some capacity, right? And then I'm going to allow it to be what it is. So on that note, thank you so much for watching this video. Please reach out to me. I look forward to connecting with you in real time. So yeah, until next time, take these concepts, try a few, try them on for size, see if you like them, and have fun connecting in with yourself and tuning into your whys. I'm really excited to see what you will present to the future world. And that being said, we do need all the help we can get here on planet Earth. So, we need your voice. So I know you can do it, and I can't wait to be in the audience one day and see what you have to say and share. So until then, be well.